I want you to walk with me, guys. There's this concept I came across where it's a statement. They simply say, if nothing changes, then nothing changes. So this links in heavily to the saying, you can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. What do they mean by this statement? My interpretation of it is that it speaks to mindset, it speaks to behaviors, it speaks to attitudes, it speaks to getting off your butt and doing the necessary work, and it speaks to progress. So mindset, if your mind is in a rut, you are not doing anything about it, you are not exercising, you are not living up to your own potential and expectations of yourself and of your situation or circumstances, then definitely, if nothing changes, then nothing changes. For the change to occur, your mindset has to readjust. You have to change your approach. You have to change your outlook from negative to positive, from non-linear to adaptive and progressive. So to make progressive change, because we want to achieve this thing of not being stagnant and staying in the same place, you need to look forward with a positive mind that easily assimilates to changing circumstances. It's a part of change management. If anything new is introduced to you, then you would have to adapt to that situation. If you don't adapt, then the situation takes control of you, takes over, and you would have to then be coming from the back foot rather than being at the forefront of the situation and taking heed, taking lead, and taking charge. So that's mindset. Then we're speaking behaviors. If you are not going to wake up when you need to wake up and hustle, need to wake up and push, need to wake up and study, you need to wake up and work, you need to wake up and be present for your family and contribute positively to your family, then all of those actions that are needed for you to pivot and move in a direction that is more progressive, those things won't happen. Because if nothing changes, then nothing changes. True, you can't do the same thing and expect different results. There has to be a change, a manifestation of something different that leads to a positive outcome. And that means that you have to get off your butt. This means increasing your work ethic, making the necessary sacrifices. For that change to manifest into something real, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the grind. It's unfortunately true, but fortunately the way it is. You have to make those minor improvements on a daily basis. On a daily basis. No matter how small or minute that difference is, remember the focus is that you have to start. Once you've started, then you grow and you learn and you adjust, then you pivot. With those slight adjustments, with each and every improvement, then you will change into something better. You can't expect to win the lotto without buying the ticket. You have to buy the ticket. So if you go and pray about it each and every day, the change that will need to come is that you actually have to buy the ticket. So if nothing changes, then nothing changes. Let this be a stark reminder that you hold a lot of things, including your fate and your destiny in your own hands. In your own hands. And that requires you to put in the work. It sounds cliche. At times, it certainly is. But you look at the greats. At the same time, when you want to be the way the greats are, you have to understand the types of sacrifices that come with that. You cannot be a Cristiano Ronaldo without having put in the sick work ethic, arriving first, leaving last, studying your actions from yesterday and improving them today, watching your past games, watching and learning from how your diet went. Were you lethargic during the game? Were you focused? What was distracting you? What are the things you need to avoid before the game, during the game, after the game? What is it that you learned from the entire experience? For that change to manifest, you need to do something about it. Take it back into your own life. What is it that's wrong that you're doing that needs and requires change? We have to look at 5 key areas where progressive change needs to happen. And you need to make the decision and start making the actions, habits, and behaviors today to change those particular things. Now, the first thing we're going to look at is your financials. How are you managing your money? How are you managing your income, your expenses? How are you balancing your life by looking at your balance sheet, your assets versus your liabilities? How can you improve those things? What challenges do you need to give yourself, and what sacrifices do you need to make? Is your budget aligning? Are you spending more than you are receiving? Are you earning and then it dissipates quickly because it's going towards debt and liabilities? Those are the things that you're going to look at. And you're going to look at line items one by one to ensure that you are able to fulfill that specific change that you want to make, because nothing changes if nothing changes, right? Then the second area you're going to look at is your health and fitness. One of the hardest things is to stay fit, but the easiest thing to do is to change your diet. Okay, perhaps I'm being overzealous. Perhaps it's not as easy as I say it is, but it is doable. And for it to be achieved, those minute changes are what are going to matter. You actually waking up and doing 10 push-ups today can progress to 25 push-ups a day in a month, to 30, 40, 50, and so it goes up until you even reach 100. But it started with 10 push-ups. The same thing when it comes to your diet. Proportioning your food will start at a minimalistic level, and you balance it accordingly. Not ninja. You obviously have to enjoy some of the foods that you like, or else it's going to be difficult for you to maintain a budget and to progress accordingly. So that change has to come in bite-sized bits so that you can make progress in the area of health and fitness. Then go to the gym. Be held accountable. Don't let your money go to the gym and you don't go there. You have to make it happen. You have to go to the gym and actually make it happen accordingly. So health and fitness is another area. Nothing changes if nothing changes. It's as simple as that, right? Then we're looking at, let's say, relationships. And relationships don't necessarily just relate to your spouse, your partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, or the person that you are habitating with or living with, things like that. It doesn't only end there. It's not only limited to that. Relationships, say with your kids, if you have kids, make the small changes that are going to refine your relationship in a positive light. Make those small changes that are going to build your relationship in a positive direction. Some of us come from generations where it was difficult growing up because the relatability between our parents and us was completely off and completely different. They come from a time of apartheid. They were treated differently to us. They were exempted from, they were prevented actually from entering certain spaces, but were able to break boundaries because of their sacrifices, right? But the same thing applies with our kids. There's a readjustment in our parenting styles that we ourselves have to make to suit the current situation as far as our kids are concerned. So put in that effort, make that change, make the necessary steps. Talk to your child, talk to your partner, talk to your spouse, communicate. You're building something and we're looking towards the future. So for things to change and for us to grow, that progressive change is necessary even in our relationships. Now let's look at areas such as our careers, our jobs, and the types of lifestyles that we are building. right? It all aligns, it all connects, and for it to be progressive, it means that even within the career that you're in, you need to make the necessary sacrifices. You need to study further if it's those type of careers. You need to, for a certain period, especially when you're starting something like a business, then you need to sacrifice your time. It is what it is. It is what it is. The sacrifice is real. But for that growth to progressively come, there's some changes that you'll need to make. If you're waking up and immediately you have to bath and then go to work, factor in 30 minutes earlier just to plan your day. That planning will assist you achieve certain objectives that you otherwise wouldn't have planned for, right? And you become more set in your day. You become a well-versed person in terms of managing your time, managing your tasks, managing your teams, and building towards an aligned vision for the organization that you're working for. Have your professional development plan, your work skills program. Have that and align your career with that. There's some instances where your employer actually pays for your studying further. Use that opportunity. Make the change. Now you are studying. Like, make that change, and that change will be visible. But it starts plan your day 30 minutes earlier. Then that will expand to an hour where you even read certain material that's linked to your work. You become more smarter, you become more developmental, you work harder, you work smarter, and people respect you, and your career can then progress, which then fits in with the other aspects. You get to make more money, you get to grow, you get to learn, you get to relate with people and have certain relationships within the workspace. Your health and fitness also benefits. You emotionally detach from bad habits and align yourself with good habits, and then you move forward. So those are the 5 areas that I'm giving you for you to be holistic in your approach. The World Health Organization defines health as the complete state of physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the presence of disease or infirmity. So in other words, that health and fitness aspect links in with everything else, but it all comes with the changes that you are going to make. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Remember, guys, it starts with you. Yeah, I'm back. YouTube, I'm back. Welcome.